about how this terrific movie came about. I mean, what was it about Richard Pryor that sort of captivated you? You had just done a movie on Roman Polanski. It's a slight difference, both some similarities too, probably, both certainly controversial figures, but why Richard Pryor?
I don't know how to find someone after Roman Polanski and Richard Pryor, because I think I've hit the top with regards to fascinating characters. An English producer came to me and wanted to do Richard Pryor, and I thought it was a fabulous idea. I had, of course, been a fan and remembered seeing his movies when I was a teenager. And we went and met Jennifer, who had not only seen my Roman Polanski film, but had seen another kind of obscure film that I'd made about a Frenchman named Louis Bernard Tapie, which kind of instantly bonded us, because not a lot of people had seen it. And I think between kind of, I don't know, my work and voice, enthusiasm and interest in the BBC, Jennifer thought, oh, why not? Yeah. And then Showtime came on board, and here we are.
Tracey, I want to move to you for a second. I mean, you were a kid growing up in Bed-Stuy, I believe, when Pryor was in his heyday. Do you remember when you sort of first became aware of him?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, the first time I ever saw him, I immediately identified and related with him, because my dad was funny like that, and like he was like my father, you know, the same, cut from the same cloth and stuff. So he was saying things on stage that were hilarious, and when he wasn't saying funny things, he was looking funny and all of that. So I can remember just first time I saw him, I was like, this ain't real. This is not real. I never really knew nobody that funny. It was hilarious, and I fell in love with him right then and there.
Wyatt, some of your riffs as a comedian are very blue and touch on everything from race to addiction. I mean, how much did you know about Pryor growing up, and what effect, if any, did he have on you?
Well, when I was a kid, my folks didn't allow curse words in the house, so I only knew him in like movies and stuff. So I remember,
in school.
Yeah, well, in school, but not like I knew.
I didn't grow up knowing how to say money gone. I learned that from Spanish kid in public school. 59. Money gone. What is that? Ain't nobody cursing in the house, but I went to school and I picked up all the stuff, even the chicken pox.
See, I got the chicken pox in the house.
What? What was going on in that house? I'm a guidance counselor now.
I need you to step in. And you know, when I was a kid, I knew his movies, and then it wasn't until I got to college where it was like, when I was 18, where it's like, okay, you know, fuck y'all, I can buy all the dirty things I want to buy and listen to them. And so I bought like that and a Cypress Hill album. And just caught up on everything I'd missed. But I knew him mainly from his movies, and I remembered seeing that SNL sketch that they had that was in the documentary, and just being so moved by that, just like how smart that was, and just him and Chevy Chase going back and forth with that word association game, and it was just like, wow, that's really amazing, and that to me, it was like, oh, if I could do comedy like that, I would be a very lucky man.
Walter, in the movie we see how Bill Cosby was both in some way Pryor's earliest influence and the guy that he felt compelled by the late 60s to rebel against. And in his autobiography, in Richard Pryor's autobiography, he wrote, "There was a world of junkies and winos, pool hustlers and prostitutes screaming inside my head waiting to be heard." What was it like in the late 60s to hear Pryor doing this kind of material when he really kind of takes a U-turn and changes his act?
I mean, to be honest, I don't think he was like so much influenced by Cosby as much as he thought, well, I have to be like that in order to make it. So I don't think it's like a direct influence. Also, I'm always confused about that. I mean, people say it. I remember the first time I ever saw Pryor was on the Merv Griffin show. And it was like his first time on the Merv Griffin show. And he came out, and he said, I'm going to show you a man seeing the world for the first time. And he got out and he stood in front of the audience, innocent and kind of beautiful. And slowly, all of that, the joy and the happiness drained away. And as it did, the audience started to laugh. Never said a word. And when he finished it, he turned away and walked off. And you know, I always think about that when people say, well, he was so influenced by Cosby. And I'm saying, that doesn't look like Cosby to me. You know, Cosby was a master of timing. But Pryor was a master of your heart. And so, like, and I think that, yes, I mean, he did it and he had to change because he found out he could and he had to. But I'm not, I was never convinced of how much he had been taken over by Cosby.
Jennifer, what was the relationship between the two of them like? I actually wondered that.
It was a little awkward. I mean, it was, you know, it was one of love, of course. There was mutual respect. But I can remember that, you know, first of all, Cos, as we know, is, you know, he crossed over in another kind of way, right? I mean, he was very clean. He worked clean. He was, you know, that kind of guy. And what I just have this story I have to tell you. Cos and his wife came out to dinner one night while we were living in Northridge. And Richard, I had bought a Tiffany lamp for Richard that he wanted. It's $10,000 gorgeous original Tiffany lamp. And Richard had taken a chair to it. So there was this, yeah, real Tiffany. And we'd have this fight. We actually had a threesome, to tell you the truth, and he got jealous and he destroyed the house. Okay, that's the truth. And
You and Cosby and...
no. No. Richard and me and another girl, right?
Meals don't wait in the cars.
Richard got jealous, you know. He thought I was, you know, doing better than he was doing, I guess. So,
You, I don't know.
You're the best wife in the world.
So he got really mad and he destroyed the house. And one of the victims was his Tiffany lamp. Okay, so cut to Cos and his wife come out at the meal. And, you know, they're kind of perfect, you know. And, you know, they're just proper, right? And I remember we had sand-apps, and it was a really nice meal. And they sat there, and very properly, and Richard and I, we were both so nervous, and there was this $10,000 Tiffany lamp smashed with this gaping hole, and nobody said a word. And it was just so imperfect, you know, it was just so, there's the symbol of Richard's, you know, rage and temper and our relationship. And so it was awkward at best, but it was always filled with love.
All kinds of ways.
The movie really explores Pryor's use of the N-word and how he explored race on stage. Do you think we're more or less sensitive about that kind of humor today than we were 25, 30 years ago?
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't doing stand-up 25 years ago. So I can't really speak to that. I mean, I think there's definitely, you know, we live in an age now where even as you're working stuff out or doing anything like that, there are people with cameras taking it. There are people taking this right now. And, you know, and so I think I think as a...
It will all be on YouTube. Everything. 10 minutes.
But I think there's a sensitivity, you know, in a way that there wasn't maybe 25 years ago because it's no longer, the show for a long time, and for me, what I love about doing stand-up is it's our relationship. It's this relationship that me, the performer, and you, the audience, we have it together in this room, in this moment. The minute it's done. We can't go back to it. But now it's like, oh no, but I can upload it, and now somebody else can have this moment, but they're not having the moment. They're having a watered-down version of it, and they may not get the context of it or anything like that. So I think that's maybe what you see more.
But you know, I mean, the way I answer this question is standing on the street in the village. I was down the street in the village, a young white gay man was handing out things. I don't know if he was white handing out